This video is brought to you by WeGotSoccer.com, offering all of the latest soccer gear at everyday low prices. Don't forget to use coupon code SR4U at checkout for 10% off any order. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you guys a comparison video between the Nike Tiempo Legend 4 ACC and the standard version of the Nike Tiempo Legend 4 minus the ACC upper. Before I go any further, I'd just like to say that there are full written reviews for both of these models on my website, SoccerReviewsForYou.com. You can find those through links in the description if you would like. The full written review for the ACC version has just gone up. It's really well done. I rewrote the entire thing, and it really gives you all the details and information that you need on this particular shoe if you are interested in buying a pair. So go ahead and check that out if that does interest you. As far as the major differences between these two shoes, the only thing that has changed is the inclusion of ACC. Nothing else has changed. The materials are exactly the same, and the overall feel is honestly not all that different unless you're playing in the wet. A lot of people were disappointed with the release of the ACC shoes. Nike decided to include that on all of their lines as opposed to just having it on the Maestri 3 line, and people were kind of disappointed if they owned one of the older versions that doesn't have the ACC. And what I have to say to that is, don't be disappointed. None of the shoes that are now featuring ACC are heads and tails better than the ones that without it. The Legend 4 was a great shoe prior to having ACC, and it's still a great shoe with ACC. It's just not something that really makes or breaks the shoe. It was a great shoe before, and it's still a great shoe now. As far as the differences in terms of feel are concerned, you can see that the standard version here, minus the ACC, has a very slick finish on the leather, pretty much what you would get from all of the colorways of the Legend, and that's really the only noticeable thing that you're going to be able to see. There's really no visual to ACC, and if I hold this one up, you can tell that by rubbing your finger on it, the standard version feels very smooth, where this one has somewhat of a more porous feel to it. I don't want to say that it's rough, but there's some kind of extra texturing there that you can feel, and that's the only difference that I could tell visually, or that you could actually feel with your finger between the two models. If you're going to be playing in dry conditions, you're really not going to notice any kind of difference in terms of touch on the ball, in terms of feel. If you're going from this shoe to this shoe, you'll notice a slight difference in the ACC model where it has a little bit more grip, but if you're going straight into a Legend 4 ACC without having worn a Legend in the past, you're not going to notice anything that's really out of the ordinary as far as the ACC model is concerned. Because if you're not familiar with what exactly ACC or all conditions control is, it's essentially a wet control element from Nike. It's a secretive process where they permeate this ACC, whatever it is, into the dye of the leather on the Legend 4. Normally it would be into the actual makeup of the synthetic upper itself. Because the Legend uses a natural upper, they have to include it into the dye. At least I would assume that's how it is. It's not actually a coating or anything like that, so it can't wear off. As far as how that affects the touch on the ball in wet weather, essentially all that it does is it seems to kind of wick away water. If you notice, if you ever weren't playing in the wet weather, you notice that there's like the outside of your shoe isn't necessarily wet, but water tends to sit on the outside layer of your shoe, creating kind of a slick finish between your foot and the ball. When you touch the ball tends to slide around on your foot a little bit more than it would in dry conditions. On the ACC model, the outside of the upper tends to stay pretty dry, at least a little bit drier than it would without the ACC coating, and not the ACC coating, the ACC upper, and that is kind of what allows for a little bit better friction between your foot and the ball, and that's really all that it does. Is it a noticeable difference? Yes. Is it something that's going to allow you to have much better control in wet weather? Not necessarily. Your touch on the ball is still going to be pretty well the same. It's just a little bit easier, I guess you could say. Slightly less slick on the ball. That's pretty much it. But other than that, that's really the only difference. As far as the fit and feel of these shoes, it's pretty much identical unless you're going to be playing in the wet. So do I like the ACC version better? Absolutely. I think it's a nice inclusion to have that ACC technology into the shoe. But does it make or break the shoe? If you have an older model, should you really be disappointed? Should you be upgrading to the ACC model? Not necessarily. If you're happy with what you have, you're not really missing out on too much. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for my comparison between the two. If you do want more details on the actual shoe itself, the full written reviews are available to you through links in the description, so you can go ahead and check those out. As always, guys, if you could leave a like on the video, it really is appreciated. And if you have any questions related to these two shoes, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to get an answer out to you. Other than that, guys, if you have any questions not related to this video, go ahead and leave that on my Facebook page. There'll be a link in the description of that as well. And as always, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.